So, today I'm going to be talking about Dylan Roof. In case you have forgotten, in 2015 he went into a historically black church and shot a lot of people. He killed 9 and injured another person. And he was arrested a short time later in North Carolina. He did the shooting in South Carolina. And he was eventually sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole by the state of South Carolina, and the U.S. federal government sent him to death. Anyway, let's look at where the build-up of this came from. Well, beforehand, Dylan Roof was born, obviously. His parents divorced at an early age, and surprisingly, he had a few black friends in high school, in his public school years. And anyway, he was portrayed as an American patriot when actually he burned the American flag. He was associated with several things: the Confederate flag, the Rhodesian flag, the old school South African flag under the apartheid thing. But anyway, Dylan Roof had a lot of problems beforehand, obviously. He got arrested a few times, and he abused substances. He also played a lot of video games and was socially withdrawn from 19 up until the attack. And he just got on a lot of websites and read a bunch of stuff about white nationalism, white supremacism, all that good stuff. And, yeah, he was very adamant about white supremacy, obviously. He was a true believer because he killed 9 people and basically signed his own death warrant for doing so. But Dylan Roof was also illegally not allowed to possess a handgun because he was an abuser of a controlled substance. And I did some digging, and Dylan Roof wanted to start a race war. He went into that church, and the churchgoers welcomed him. In fact, he said he almost didn't kill them all because they were so nice to him. They were just doing a Bible study. They were like, "Hey, welcome." And he shot them all. He said he almost didn't do it because they were so nice to him. But anyway, Dylan Roof was assaulted in prison by this guy who was there for strong-armed robbery or something, and he got released on bail after people posted his bond to support him. He allegedly got assaulted. Dylan Roof wasn't hurt that bad. But anyway, Dylan Roof in the courtroom seemed very adamant about protecting his image. To him, his image was more important than his own life. They say he might have social anxiety, they say he might have autism, they say he might have antisocial personality disorder, a whole bunch of things. And he told his lawyers not to use the autism defense because people would think he was a weirdo, according to him. He said he prefers to be known as a sociopath as opposed to an autistic. And Dylan Roof, he clearly is a very unusual case because is he a terrorist? Yes. The unlawful use of force to achieve military or political objectives, that is terrorism. And no, you don't have to wear a towel on your head or pray to Mecca 5 times a day to be a terrorist. I'm sorry, you don't. But Dylan Roof, it's hard to say what exactly is wrong with him, but it's like he might have been abused or something like that. I do know that the divorce probably had a hard time with him, and he could make friends in school and all that stuff, but you can't. But I think he was angry, and he got in with other angry people, and that's how you get worse. If you're angry, you go talk to other angry people and hang out with other angry people, and that thing just festers and just. He later said that, he would do what no one else seemed to have the courage to do and start a race war. But all he succeeded in doing was getting a whole bunch of people to take down Confederate flags. And that's a far cry from the race war that he was hoping for. I don't think Charlottesville would be he'd be content with Charlottesville. I think he'd be more content with something that he found it. You might find in the Turner Diaries, like a no holds barred race war, because in that book there's a full blown race war, and the government is controlled by Jews, and they employ gangbangers as basically enforcers, low-level enforcers, like beat cops or something. And anyway, Timothy McVeigh, by the way, was a big fan of the Turner Diaries. Look it up. But anyway, Dylann Roof, he killed 9 people, and the jury was mixed with black and white, and they convicted him. What's amazing is that the family members of the churchgoers forgave Dylann Roof. However, the state was not quite as merciful, as you know. The state of South Carolina sentenced him to death, well, not to death, to life in prison with no chance of parole, and the federal government sentenced him to death. But Dylan, he will protect his image. He is fighting furiously to protect his image. He doesn't want to be known as autistic. He prefers to be known as a sociopath. And he saw himself clearly as a man on a mission to... He clearly had no real, at least no grasp of reality, and seemed to be historically impaired, because he should have seen that people had attempted to do similar stuff like this, like Charles Manson, Timothy McVeigh, etc. And none of these things sparked the civil war or race war that he wanted to spark. And so Dylann Roof clearly had a overinflated sense of his own importance and belief. And I think that the fear that he was nobody, just another face in the crowd, was horrifying to him. And I think that's horrifying to a lot of spree killers. The fear that they are nobody, that they are not recognized, that they are anonymous, that they are just noise in the background. And the fearing that you are nobody, that can cause a lot of carnage, believe me. It's happened before and it will happen again. Anyway, he might have had some narcissistic traits, because he believed that, maybe the white nationalist movement still wasn't giving him the respect he was due, or, stuff like that. But Dylann Roof is quite an interesting case. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.